Cupid's blunders. Cupid, the celestial harbinger of love, typically traversed the realms with an unerring aim that rendered love stories into sonnets and ballads. His golden arrows, infused with the ethereal magic of affection, had been known to bind hearts and kindle passions with impeccable precision. However, on an otherwise ordinary day, Cupid was about to encounter a most extraordinary twist in his age-old mission. As the sun's radiant beams streamed through the heavens, Cupid, wrapped in his signature robe adorned with hearts, embarked on what seemed like a routine mission to Earth. His quiver, adorned with golden arrows glistening in the dawn's light, hung gracefully at his side. Little did he know that today, fate had orchestrated a performance that even the gods would applaud. Descending gently from the heavens, Cupid alighted upon the earth beneath a sprawling willow tree in the heart of a serene park. Unbeknownst to him, the ancient willow harbored its own secrets, whispers of past romances that had blossomed beneath its shade. Cupid's landing, however, bore a different consequence than usual. As Cupid's divine feet met the earthly ground, a peculiar jolt coursed through his being. It was as if the very air around him had shifted, a subtle tremor in the cosmic balance. Glancing at his trusty quiver, he noticed a faint shimmer dancing around his golden arrows, like fireflies flirting with the morning dew. Perplexed, Cupid reached for an arrow, and to his amazement, it felt oddly warm and vibrant in his grasp. Undeterred by this mysterious phenomenon, Cupid looked around the park, seeking his first pair of unsuspecting souls. His keen eyes settled upon two young men, complete strangers to each other, named Henry and Samantha. Their lives seemed ordinary in every way, void of any known connection. Yet, today, they would become instruments of a cosmic twist. Meanwhile, a girl named Angela strolled leisurely through the park, her faithful dog, Max, at her side. Angela's heart was as open and free as the skies above, a young woman unaware of the whimsical forces that were converging upon her on this seemingly ordinary day. As Cupid observed Henry and Samantha from his perch in the willow tree, he couldn't help but chuckle at the stark contrast between the two young men. He muttered to himself, "Ah, young love, what a tapestry you weave," as he watched Samantha passionately defending the merits of classic literature and Henry countering with his fervor for extreme sports. Just as Cupid was contemplating the potential intellectual fireworks between the two, a loud commotion interrupted his thoughts. Max, Angela's exuberant dog, had taken offense to the strange presence in the tree and began barking loudly, his tail wagging with protective fury. Angela, surprised and slightly annoyed by Max's sudden outburst, halted in her tracks and looked up at the tree. Her eyes widened as she spotted Cupid, perched high above with his radiant bow. She couldn't believe her eyes. Without hesitation, she pointed a finger at Cupid and exclaimed, "Hey, you up there! What do you think you're doing? You better come down before you cause trouble." Cupid, convinced that no mortal could see him, simply shook his head with an amused grin. "Oh, my dear Angela, you can't see me. I'm the god of love, after all. I don't get scolded by humans," he thought to himself. But Angela was undeterred. She folded her arms and huffed, "I'm serious. You don't belong up there. You're going to fall and hurt yourself or worse, ruin this beautiful tree. Cupid, still convinced that Angela wasn't addressing him, continued to watch Henry and Samantha, muttering to himself, "These two are going to need more than just a nudge from me. It's like trying to mix oil and water." Angela, growing impatient, called up to Cupid once more, "I mean it. You better explain yourself right now, or I'll climb up there and get you down myself." Cupid finally turned his attention to Angela, blinking in surprise. "Wait, did she just—" he began, but before he could finish his thought, Angela interjected with a raised eyebrow and a wry grin, "Well, Mr. Bowanglow, cat got your tongue?" Cupid, still under the impression that Angela couldn't possibly see him, decided to have a bit of fun. He crossed his arms, pouted, and mimicked a child's voice with a mischievous grin. "I'm not coming down. You can't make me. I'm a god, and I do what I want." Angela, not one to back down, chuckled at Cupid's antics. "Oh, really? A god, huh? Well, this god is acting more like a spoiled child who needs a timeout." Cupid couldn't believe it. No one had ever dared to speak to him like this before. He stomped his foot on an invisible cloud and crossed his arms even tighter. "I'm not spoiled. I'm just misunderstood." Angela rolled her eyes and quipped, "Misunderstood, my foot. You're just a troublemaker up there. Now either you come down and explain yourself, or I'll start throwing pebbles." Cupid's bravado started to wane, and he began to feel a bit nervous. His mission was at a crucial point, and this unforeseen distraction was making him uneasy. He muttered to himself, this was not in the divine job description. Feeling the pressure, Cupid begrudgingly began to climb down from the tree. As he descended, he mumbled, "Fine, fine, I'm coming down. But you better have a good reason for interrupting my mission." Angela smirked triumphantly. "That's more like it. Now, spill the beans, Mr. Bowanglow. Who do you see up there?" Cupid hesitated for a moment, still unsure if Angela's ability to see him was genuine or some kind of strange trick. He finally replied, "Well, you see, I was just bird watching. Yes, bird watching in this lovely tree." Angela couldn't hold back a laugh. "Bird watching, huh? You must be the world's worst bird watcher." Cupid's patience wore thin as he descended the last branch, and he muttered under his breath, this was the worst day to have an identity crisis. As Cupid finally reached the ground, he gave Angela an exasperated look and grumbled, "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have important matters to attend to." "Love matters. So, don't let me catch you throwing pebbles at any more gods, all right?" Angela just shook her head, still amused by the peculiar encounter. "Sure thing, Mr. Birdwatcher." And with that, Cupid left a baffled Angela and continued his mission, now with a touch of nerves and a comical memory of his unexpected encounter with a fearless mortal who could somehow see right through him. Cupid, utterly flabbergasted by Angela's audacity, watched in disbelief as she nonchalantly snatched his radiant bow from the air and pointed it at him. He stammered, "Wait, you can't just. That's my—" Angela, completely unfazed, raised an eyebrow and quipped, "Your bird-killing bow? What kind of god are you, anyway?" Cupid spluttered in response, "I'm not the god of crimes, I'm the god of love. My bow is for creating love, not for, bird genocide." Angela burst into laughter, still wielding the bow with a grin. "Love, huh? Well, you're not exactly dressed for it, Mr. Love God. What do you think children will say when they see you like this?" Cupid, now realizing his semi-dressed state, flushed bright red and tried to cover himself with his wings. "Well, this isn't how it's supposed to be. This is a mistake." Angela lowered the bow, chuckling at Cupid's discomfiture. "Mistake or not, you're quite the character, Mr. Cupid. Now, if you want this back, you better explain what's really going on here." Angela, still skeptical about Cupid's divine claims, smirked and said, "Cupid, huh? Well, let's hear the real story or this bow stays with me." Cupid, now in a bit of a bind, realized he had no choice but to come clean. With a sheepish grin, he confessed, all right, you got me. I'm not really a god. I'm an actor, and I'm preparing for a premiere at the theater. I'm playing the role of Cupid, and these are my costume and props." He gestured to the clothes and accessories scattered on the ground. Angela's eyes sparkled with amusement as she realized the truth. "An actor, huh? Well, I've met some method actors in my time, but you really take the cake." Cupid chuckled nervously. "It's been quite the day, believe me. And, someone must have stolen my clothes while I was practicing. I can't exactly perform in my underwear, you know." Angela, now fully convinced, offered her assistance with a warm smile. "Well, Mr. Actor, it just so happens that I'm a teacher in Greek mythology. I know everything there is to know about Cupid. If you want to nail your performance, I'd be happy to help you practice your role." Cupid's eyes lit up with gratitude. "That would be fantastic. I could use all the help I can get, especially from a mythology expert like you." Cupid, still harboring concerns about the unusual effects of his arrow, decided to keep his true intentions hidden from Angela. Instead, he approached her with a different idea. With a charming smile, he proposed, "Angela, you've been such a great help already, and I was wondering if you could assist me a bit further. You see, I'm preparing for the role of Cupid, and having you nearby would be invaluable for my performance." Angela, flattered by the request, readily agreed. "Of course, Cupid. I'd be happy to help you rehearse your role." Cupid, trying to maintain his facade, replied, "Well, Angela, I was thinking that we could invite Henry and Samantha, the new couple over there, to participate as well. It would make the rehearsal more authentic, and we could observe them closely." Angela nodded in approval. "That's a wonderful idea, Cupid. We can use the opportunity to learn more about their love story." And so, with their plan in motion, Cupid and Angela set out to invite Henry and Samantha to be a part of their theatrical rehearsal, all the while Cupid keeping his true mission hidden behind the veil of his acting endeavor. Cupid, his true intention hidden from Angela, continued to carefully craft his plan to ensure that the effects of his arrow on Henry and Samantha were as they should be. He understood the importance of keeping his concerns discreet, for he didn't want to alarm Angela or raise any suspicions. Angela invited Henry and Samantha to participate in the theatrical rehearsal. Cupid was determined to observe this newly formed couple closely, ensuring that the magic of his arrow had indeed worked its intended wonders. As Cupid discreetly began to gather information about the new couple, he engaged in a casual conversation with Henry and Samantha during their theatrical rehearsal break. Samantha, a hint of curiosity in her eyes, shared, "You know, Cupid, I've known Henry for years. We practically grew up together." Henry, on the other hand, seemed eager to express his feelings. He chimed in, "I feel like I've known Samantha forever, even though we've only been hanging out for a few hours. It's strange, but I can't help but feel a deep connection." Cupid, while maintaining his composed demeanor, couldn't help but notice the disparity in their sentiments. Samantha's response was warm but more akin to sibling affection, while Henry's emotions seemed to be reaching a romantic crescendo. Samantha continued, "Henry's like a brother to me. We've shared so many memories and secrets over the years. I care about him deeply." Cupid's celestial senses were telling him that something wasn't quite right. The connection between Henry and Samantha appeared to be skewed and uneven, lacking the balanced reciprocity that his arrows usually produced. He made a mental note to observe their interactions further, determined to understand the intricacies of their feelings and to ascertain whether his arrow's effect had indeed worked as intended. It seemed that he had stumbled upon a love story with complex layers that required a more delicate touch to ensure its completeness. As Cupid and Angela continued their rehearsal with Henry and Samantha, Angela's enthusiasm as a director began to border on the annoying for Cupid, who was already preoccupied with finding a solution for the newly formed but unstable couple. Angela, in her element, couldn't resist giving direction with excessive zeal. "Cupid, darling, you need to really embody the essence of the god of love. Remember, you're not just a character, you're the embodiment of passion and desire." Cupid, growing increasingly annoyed, responded, "Yes, yes, Angela, I know. But can we focus on helping Henry and Samantha first? Their feelings are a bit, well, complicated." Angela, undeterred, continued to hound Cupid with her direction. And let's not forget, Cupid was known for his exquisite aim with those arrows. His love connections were legendary. So, let's see that accuracy, shall we? Cupid, feeling exasperated, muttered under his breath, "If she only knew how awry my last shot went." But the final straw came when Angela, still in director mode, began to blur the lines between mythology and reality. She exclaimed, "Cupid was known to have a love affair with Psyche, you know. Their story is the epitome of timeless love. You should take notes from his love life, Cupid." Cupid, trying his best to keep his identity hidden, found himself increasingly exasperated with Angela's enthusiastic direction. As Angela passionately explored the blurry boundaries between mythology and reality, Cupid couldn't help but stifle a chuckle at her mention of his supposed love affair with Psyche. However, the irony wasn't lost on him. Cupid, the god of love, was grappling with the unpredictable intricacies of earthly romance. Under his breath, he mumbled, "If only she knew how love can go haywire, even for yours truly." But what really tickled his divine sense of humor was Angela's suggestion that he take notes from his own love life. Cupid's eyes twinkled mischievously as he thought, "Well, Angela, if you only knew the real story behind my epitome of timeless love with Psyche." As Cupid reminisced about the tumultuous love affair between him and Psyche, an idea began to form in his mind. He pondered whether a lesson from his own mythological love story could help Henry and Samantha navigate their complex relationship. During a break in the rehearsal, Cupid turned to Angela and, with a sly grin, suggested, "You know, Angela, there might be something we can learn from the past." In my No. His myth, when his mother Venus tried to separate Cupid from Psyche, it only made their love stronger. Maybe a little bit of Venus-style interference could help Henry and Samantha find their way. Angela, intrigued by the idea, replied, "That's an interesting thought, Cupid. But how would we go about it? We don't have a divine goddess like Venus to intervene." Cupid winked playfully and said, "Ah, but we do have the next best thing, a meddling theater director and a love-struck actor. With a touch of creativity and a dash of divine inspiration, who knows what we can accomplish?" And so, Cupid hatched a plan to subtly introduce some obstacles and challenges into Henry and Samantha's relationship, all in the name of strengthening their love. With Angela's enthusiastic assistance, they embarked on a mission to bring a bit of divine intervention to the earthly realm of romance, hoping to set things right for their beloved couple. As Angela continued her efforts to reconcile Henry and Samantha, her primary motivation remained focused on ensuring a successful rehearsal for the play. She believed that their onstage chemistry would be critical to the production's success, and that was her driving force. Cupid, on the other hand, had a more profound mission. He aimed to rectify the effects of his wayward arrow and genuinely make Henry and Samantha fall in love with each other, creating a real-life love story that mirrored the myths he had inspired throughout history. During a break in their rehearsal, Angela decided to take matters into her own hands. She had a playful idea to make Samantha just a tad jealous by inviting Henry for a walk. Angela was determined to impress Henry and maybe ignite a spark of interest. With a coy smile, she turned to Henry and said, "Henry, would you be interested in taking a little walk with me? The park is so lovely, and I have some stories about Greek mythology that might just captivate you." Henry, intrigued by the prospect of hearing stories and spending time with Angela, agreed, "Sure, Angela. A walk and some mythological tales sound like a delightful way to spend our break." As they strolled through the park, Angela began to regale Henry with engaging stories from Greek mythology. She talked about the epic love stories of gods and mortals, weaving in her extensive knowledge with enthusiasm. Angela was hoping to impress Henry with her passion for mythology. However, little did Angela know that Henry was already quite charmed by her personality and her knowledge. Instead of feeling jealous, Samantha watched them from a distance, smiling to herself, recognizing the genuine connection between Angela and Henry. As Cupid engaged in conversation with Samantha, he couldn't help but shower her with compliments. His words flowed effortlessly as he admired her charm and grace. "Cupid," he began, "you have the most enchanting smile. It's like a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day." Samantha blushed at the sweet words and replied, "Oh, thank you, Cupid. You're too kind." Cupid continued, "And your laughter, Samantha, it's like the most beautiful melody in the universe. It has the power to brighten anyone's day." Samantha's smile grew wider as she listened to Cupid's flattering words. "You really know how to make a girl feel special," she said. But it was during this exchange of compliments that Samantha, in a moment of weakness, impulsively planted a quick kiss on Cupid's lips, taking both of them by surprise. Cupid, still processing the unexpected kiss, couldn't help but stammer, "Well, that was certainly unexpected." Samantha blushed deeply, stammering, "I'm so sorry, Cupid. I don't know what came over me. It was just a friendly gesture, I swear." Meanwhile, Angela and Henry had returned from their walk and were greeted by this unexpected turn of events. They exchanged wide-eyed glances, utterly flabbergasted by what they had witnessed. Henry turned to Angela and whispered, "Did I miss something? What just happened?" Angela, equally baffled, replied, "I have no idea. It was just a friendly gesture, I swear." Cupid, recovering from the shock of Samantha's kiss, tried to regain his composure. With a sheepish grin, he thanked, "Well, I suppose this wasn't exactly what I had in mind when I came to Earth, but it seems love has its own way of surprising even the god of love himself." Henry, deeply affected by the kiss between Samantha and Cupid, found himself growing increasingly jealous. He longed to leave the rehearsal and escape the confusing emotions that were swirling within him. However, Samantha, who was secretly smitten with Cupid, had no intention of leaving. She was enjoying every moment in his company and wanted to stay by his side. Henry, trying to hide his jealousy and maintain his composure, discreetly signaled his desire to leave. He cleared his throat and said, "Well, I think we've rehearsed enough for today. I should probably get going." Samantha, completely absorbed in the scene and her connection with Cupid, was oblivious to Henry's jealousy. She responded with enthusiasm, "Oh, but Henry, we're making such great progress. I'd love to keep rehearsing." Henry, feeling increasingly uncomfortable, attempted to insist, "No, no, Samantha. We really should call it a day. We can pick up where we left off tomorrow." But Samantha, lost in the romantic moment of the scene, pleaded, "Just a little longer, please. I want to get this scene just right." Cupid and Angela exchanged knowing glances, recognizing the humorous tension in the situation. It was a comedy of jealousy, desire, and unspoken feelings, with Henry wanting to escape the situation and Samantha wanting to prolong her time with Cupid. The park continued to be the stage for their amusing romantic entanglement. As the tension between Samantha and Henry escalated during their loud argument, Angela and Cupid couldn't help but exchange satisfied glances. They believed that the jealousy they had witnessed was a sign that Samantha and Henry were deeply in love with each other. Meanwhile, Samantha, her patience running thin, finally couldn't contain her frustration any longer. She yelled at the top of her lungs, "Yes, I admit it. I love this actor." She pointed dramatically at Cupid. "It was love at first sight, and I won't give up on him so easily." Henry, taken aback by Samantha's outburst, blinked in surprise. He realized that he had misunderstood the situation and that Samantha's affections were directed at Cupid, not him. Cupid, his heart fluttering at Samantha's confession, tried to maintain his role. He said with a playful smirk, "Well, Samantha, I must say I'm flattered by your admiration. But remember, it's all in the name of theater." Samantha, caught up in the moment and feeling a genuine connection with Cupid, continued her passionate declaration. She looked into Cupid's eyes and said, "Forget the theater, forget the roles. I don't care about scripts or rehearsals. I truly feel like I can't live without you, Cupid." Cupid, flustered by Samantha's intensity, tried to maintain his role as an actor and matchmaker. He replied, "Samantha, you can't mean that. You and Henry are meant to be together. I was here to bring you two closer, not to come between you." But Samantha, determined to express her feelings, insisted, "No, Cupid, you don't understand. I've never felt this way before. It's like a bolt of lightning, and I can't ignore it. I can't deny what's in my heart." The situation had taken a heartfelt turn, with Samantha's confession of her feelings for Cupid. Cupid, conflicted between his role as a matchmaker and his own emotions, found himself in a unique predicament. Angela and Henry watched with bated breath, unsure of how this romantic comedy would ultimately unfold. Samantha's heartfelt words hung in the air as she expressed her desire to be with Cupid, to get to know him better, and to share more moments together. She continued, "Your kiss was the most authentic moment, Cupid. All I want is for you to let me be with you." Cupid, caught between his role as a matchmaker and Samantha's sincere confession, was at a loss for words. He couldn't comprehend the depth of Samantha's feelings, and a sense of confusion swept over him. Meanwhile, Henry, deeply wounded by Samantha's declaration of love for Cupid, couldn't bear to stay any longer. He left in a hurry, his heart heavy and his emotions in turmoil, almost on the verge of tears. As Cupid left Samantha, he couldn't help but feel a sense of responsibility and conflict. Before parting ways, he promised her, "Samantha, we will see each other tomorrow, and we'll spend a lot of time together. I promise." Samantha, though upset by their parting, was comforted by Cupid's promise. She walked away, blowing kisses into the air toward Cupid, her heart filled with affection and longing. Cupid, trying to make sense of the situation, couldn't help but ponder Samantha's words. He wondered if there was indeed something magical about the kiss they had shared. It made him question the authenticity of his own past love, particularly his relationship with Psyche. The uncertainty gnawed at him as he contemplated whether his own love had been under the spell of his arrows, just as Samantha seemed to be. It was a moment of introspection and confusion, where the boundaries between the divine and the mortal became increasingly blurred. Angela, observing the unfolding drama, approached Cupid and said with a mixture of concern and confusion, "Cupid, you got what you wanted. Your plan worked. Samantha is in love. Why aren't you happy?" "I don't understand." Cupid, with his head bowed and a heavy heart, looked at Angela and replied, "Angela, do you really not understand anything?" His response held a sense of introspection and sadness, as he grappled with the consequences of his actions and the realization that love could be far more complex and unpredictable than he had ever imagined. Angela, sensing his inner turmoil, could only watch as the love story she had unwittingly become a part of continued to unfold in mysterious and unexpected ways. As Cupid remained pensive, Angela decided to break the tension with a light-hearted comment. She said with a smile, "Cupid, look, you can keep the bow if you want, but please, no more climbing trees, all right?" She chuckled, trying to bring back some humor to the situation. Cupid, managing a weak smile, reached out to accept the bow. However, as he examined it more closely, he noticed something unusual. The tip of one of the arrows was crooked, unlike the others. His heart skipped a beat as he realized that this crooked arrow was the one he had used on Henry and Samantha. Cupid's confusion and concern deepened as he wondered whether this arrow had caused the unexpected twist in their love story. Angela, noticing Cupid's reaction, asked with curiosity, "What is it, Cupid? Did you find something unusual about the arrow?" Cupid, his mind racing with questions and uncertainties, replied, "It's this arrow, Angela. Something isn't right. I think this arrow may have caused all of this confusion." Cupid turned to Angela and asked, "Do you trust me?" Angela, with a smile and a playful twinkle in her eye, replied, "Yes, Cupid, I trust you. As long as you promise that you're not a bird killer." Cupid chuckled, relieved by Angela's response. "I promise, Angela, I'm not a bird killer. Now, let's work together to find Henry and Samantha," he said with determination. As Cupid and Angela began their search for Henry and Samantha, Angela suddenly noticed someone following them. He turned to Cupid and said, "It won't be very difficult. Do you see that we are being followed?" Angela, with a bigger smile, replied, "Look there, just a few steps behind. Isn't that Samantha?" Cupid squinted and noticed Samantha, disguised in a rather comical manner, attempting to go incognito. He couldn't help but chuckle at the sight. Is she really disguised like that? She must be really determined. Angela, still amused, added, "Well, Cupid, it seems like she can't bear to be without you." Cupid, not entirely convinced by Angela's playful remarks, responded with a hint of seriousness, "Let's not joke about such things, Angela. We need to find them and help them." With a playful grin, he said, well, Samantha, what are you doing here?" Samantha, caught off guard and blushing, quickly tried to come up with funny excuses. She stammered, "Oh, Cupid, I thought I saw a rare species of squirrel, and I was trying to observe it in its natural habitat." Cupid raised an eyebrow, trying to hide his amusement. "A squirrel, you say? In the park? Samantha, you must have quite the keen eye." Samantha chuckled nervously and added, "Yes, you know me, Cupid, always on the lookout for wildlife." Cupid couldn't contain his laughter any longer and said, "Well, Samantha, I think we both know there's more to this story than meets the eye. But I'm glad I found you." Cupid, with a twinkle in his eye, turned to Samantha and said, "Samantha, I need Henry's expertise as a jeweler to help me choose a special ring. There's no one more skilled than him for this task." Samantha, puzzled by Cupid's insistence on going to Henry, asked, "But Cupid, there are other jewelers in town. Why should we specifically go to him?" Cupid, maintaining the facade, replied, "Trust me, Samantha, Henry is the best for this. He has a unique talent for selecting the perfect ring." Samantha, now understanding the situation a bit better, added with a knowing smile, "You're right, Cupid. His family has been in the jewelry business for generations. Let's head to his boutique." Eager to receive the ring that she thought would follow, Samantha led the way, guiding Cupid and Angela to Henry's boutique. Cupid's true intention was to fix the crooked arrow that had caused the romantic turmoil between Henry and Samantha. As he entered Henry's boutique, he was met with Henry's cold and resentful reception. Henry declared, "Cupid, I have no business with you, and I'd rather not see you again." Seething with hurt and frustration, Henry went on to say, "I'll never have anything with Samantha, now I need only get some revenge instead." Cupid, seeing an opportunity to mend the situation, responded cautiously, "How can I help you seek revenge, Henry? Can you trust me to do so?" Henry made it clear, "Cupid, I don't want anything to do with you, and I'd rather not lay eyes on you again." Cupid, with a hidden agenda to fix the crooked arrow's effects, responded cautiously, "Henry, I understand your feelings, but there's a way to make things right." Henry, intrigued by Cupid's cryptic statement, asked, "What do you mean? Can I trust you to help me?" Cupid, maintaining his cover, replied, "Trust me, Henry. We can find a solution to the situation." Henry, still unaware of Cupid's true intentions, turned to Angela for confirmation. He said, "Angela, can you confirm that he has nothing to do with Samantha, and he won't have anything to do with her in the future? Don't you love her too, Cupid?" "I don't understand." "She's an amazing woman, and any man could fall in love with her." Angela, who had been a witness to the unfolding romantic drama, replied with a knowing smile, "Henry, sometimes love takes unexpected turns. Let's see what Cupid can do to set things right." Cupid say, "Please Henry, fix this arrow, and I promise you'll be in for a surprise." Henry, demonstrating his skill and cleverness, meticulously repaired Cupid's crooked arrow. Cupidon knew that he had to use the same arrow to restore the feelings between him and Samantha. Once he received the restored arrow from Henry, Cupid decided on a plan. He sent Angela to fetch Samantha, suggesting that it was finally time for Samantha to try on the long-awaited ring. As Angela went to find Samantha, the stage was set for a pivotal moment in their love story. Samantha, overwhelmed with joy, entered the boutique, not realizing that the person before her was actually Henry, not Cupid. With a theatrical flair, Cupid instructed her to remain in place, promising a surprise. He presented Samantha with a stunning ring, using the tip of an arrow to send it gliding toward her. Her happiness knew no bounds, and she reached out eagerly for the ring. However, in a dramatic and comically unexpected twist, she stumbled and fell to the ground, bewildered and disoriented, appearing wounded by the arrow. Angela, who had witnessed the entire spectacle, was aghast and couldn't contain her shock. Without missing a beat, she delivered a resounding slap to Cupid's cheek. Her voice laced with humor and drama, she scolded him, "You asked me to trust you, and what are you doing, throwing arrows at innocent people? Shame on you, Cupid! You'll be locked up for the rest of your eternal life, you criminal." Cupid, now fully aware of the chaotic situation he had created, was left to ponder the consequences of his impulsive actions, while Samantha lay on the ground, a mix of surprise on her face, and Angela channeled her inner drama queen amidst the hilarity of this unexpected turn of events. Samantha's eyes widened in astonishment as she saw Henry standing before her. Without hesitation, she threw herself into his arms and planted a passionate kiss on his lips. She exclaimed, "Where have you been all this time, my prince?" Henry, equally amazed and overjoyed, replied, "I was waiting for you to come to me, Samantha. I've been searching for you for so long." Samantha, her voice filled with emotion, whispered, "Henry, you're my heart's desire, the missing piece that makes me whole." Henry, his eyes locked onto Samantha's with unwavering devotion, responded with equal intensity, "Samantha, you're the love of my life. Every moment without you felt incomplete." Samantha whispered softly, "I can't believe you're here, Henry. It's like a fairy tale, and you're my Prince Charming." Henry, his gaze locked with Samantha's, smiled tenderly and replied, "And you, Samantha, are my princess. I've missed you more than words can express." Their reunion was a moment of pure bliss and genuine love, as the magic of their connection overcame all the twists and turns in their love story. The enchanting and unexpected journey had finally led them back into each other's arms. Angela, her eyes wide with amazement and utterly bewildered by the sudden turn of events, turned to Cupid and asked in a puzzled tone, "What is this? What just happened?" Cupid, with a knowing smile and a hint of mischief in his eyes, replied, "Well, Angela, sometimes love takes its own course even when we try to guide it. It seems like our little adventure has taken a surprising twist." Angela, still inquisitive and determined to seek answers, insisted, "Don't think you're getting away without explanations, Cupid. You owe me answers. Are you to blame for all of this?" Cupid, amused by Angela's accusations and realizing he couldn't keep his secret any longer, admitted with a chuckle, "Well, Angela, I must confess, it is my fault. You see, I have this passion for birds. I love to watch them. Angela couldn't help but shake her head in both exasperation and amusement, realizing only that Cupid's love for birds had inadvertently set off a chain of events that led to this charmingly chaotic love story. Back at his celestial home, Cupid couldn't help but replay the moment when his lips had met Samantha's, and she had fallen in love instantly. It was a memory that lingered in his mind, sparking a mixture of curiosity and nostalgia. As he reflected on that kiss, Cupid couldn't help but wonder about his own past experiences. He pondered whether his first kiss had held the same magical impact and if it had changed Psyche's behavior in any way. The narrow-hearted Cupid couldn't shake the belief that the love between him and Psyche had been somehow influenced by magic, and that it was not a pure, genuine love. He found himself tormented by this notion, and it cast a shadow over his own understanding of love. Venus, observing Cupid's turmoil and recognizing the impact Samantha's kiss had on him, grew concerned. She approached him and asked, "Cupid, what's troubling you? Why do you resist your missions on Earth?" Cupid, his heart heavy with doubt, didn't hold back. He reproached Venus, saying, "You were the reason for our problem, Mother. Your interference with Psyche's love for me led to so much pain and heartache. I can't bear to see love go astray anymore." Venus, observing Cupid's turmoil and guilt, decided to bring him some peace by addressing his concerns. She gently reassured him, saying, "Cupid, you must understand that as immortals, we are not influenced by the magic of your arrows. The love between us is pure and unaltered by your powers. That's precisely why I had to accept it when you fell in love with Psyche." Her words carried the weight of wisdom, and they began to alleviate Cupid's doubts and fears. He realized that the love he felt for Psyche were indeed genuine and untainted by any magic. It was a profound moment of clarity that allowed him to embrace both his role as a matchmaker and the beauty of true love in all its unpredictable forms.